Hello everyone and welcome to another review. It's been a while since I've done a review, so I've been eager to kind of get one out. And more importantly, this is actually going to be one that is of a different format than my normal other reviews. I'm going to be mixing in different formatted reviews starting from now on, pretty much for the most part. Anyways, from the title, you can see this review is for the fragrance Animale. Here's the bottle. It says Animale for men on it, eau de toilette. And it's very simple. It just has like a little lightning bolt on the front, Animale for men. Now, before I actually get started on this one, I want to really emphasize that this is not Animale. This is not this. This is the more popular one out of the two. And I want to caution anyone who's thinking about buying this, because they're both cheapies. They're both very inexpensive. You can purchase it for around anywhere between $10 and $30. Depends on where you get your deal from. This fragrance has been out since 1993. Forgot when this was actually released. I have some notes on this, but either way, bottom line is do not get confused between the two. There are two. One is Animale, another is Animale. Now, I was actually pretty upset when I bought it, because the first one that I bought was this. I bought it thinking that this was the Animale that everyone was talking about, not knowing that there were two, Animale and Animale. Now, when I got it, I was extremely disappointed because the overall feeling beforehand was that Animale smells like pure malt, is what some people said, or that it was a comparable fragrance, but that it was just a little bit cheaper. It was brought as a cheaper alternative to pure malt. So when I got this, I remember smelling it and thinking to myself, man, what the F, basically. I thought everyone must have been crazy. Your nose must have been off. I thought something must have been wrong. Something has got to be wrong, because this smells nothing like pure malt, and it smells nothing like this. They're two very different fragrances. So that's the only purpose of me bringing up this fragrance. In any case, this fragrance, on the other hand, let's get into the notes. For the notes of this fragrance, at the top we have freesia, lemon, and neroli. For our mid, we have juniper, lavender, and geranium. And for our base, we have leather, oak moss, and vetiver. So from the notes alone, you can probably tell that it should smell a little fresh. And when I got it at first, that's not the impression that I got. At first, I thought it smelled very cheap, I don't like to use the term synthetic, but it felt very manufactured. Not necessarily, synthetic as in, it just felt cheap. That's the overall impression that I got from it. But returning to the fragrance and kind of testing it along, I found out, hey, it's not so bad. It's not as bad as I originally thought. What you get when you spray this fragrance is a little bit of lemon, get a little bit of florals that are in it. It comes off overall as an aromatic, kind of fresh, sporty, lemony fragrance with a little hint of spices at the same time, and a little hint of flowers, a little hint of florals in it. If I was to compare this fragrance to something else, I would compare it to something like Cool Water with a little bit more of a floral scent. So I would definitely compare this to Cool Water, and that's kind of the impression that I get from this fragrance. So overall, it's not a bad fragrance. It's really tainted by my dislike, just because it wasn't something that I was expecting, and that bias has never really disappeared in my head. So I don't really want to turn people off towards this, but at the end of the day, I'm not too crazy about Cool Water to begin with, so I'm not too crazy about this fragrance either. That said, you can wear this fragrance for casuals, a casual everyday type of a fragrance. I would be very careful on this trigger-wise. If you're especially planning on wearing it on work, you'll probably come off as like that cologne guy. You'll come off as that cologne guy who sprays too much if you are, too happy with the trigger. And that's the one thing I would probably caution with this fragrance. Again, everyday fragrance, I could definitely see people wearing this year-round. The only people I would caution this against are the younger crowd, just because, again, over-applying this one, you might come off as not only that cologne guy, but the kid cologne guy, the kid that sprays too much cologne. So just be careful with this one on that one. All right, now there is something that I wanted to do a little bit different on these types, and that is the overall scent thing. At the same time, I went out to Times Square, tallied the opinions of what people thought of this, and the opinions were 55 people. I did it to 100 people. I actually did it for like 5 or 6 fragrances, but this fragrance is 55 people liked the fragrance. The most common used word with that was fresh. It comes off as a very fresh fragrance. 20 people thought it was middle of the road, and 25 people disliked it. Those 25 people who disliked it, it fell down on those perfect lines. But those 25 people who disliked it, they said that it was annoyingly, it was either too powerful or cheap. Cheap was the biggest word that was used by the people who did not like it. So those kind of were the overall opinions and thoughts on it. Overall, for me, I give it a 5 out of 10. I give it a 5 out of 10 just because, again, I'm very heavily biased towards this fragrance now. I disliked it from the get-go, even though now I think that it doesn't smell as bad as I thought it was. You know, I think it would actually be a pretty good buy for somebody who doesn't want to spend a lot on fragrances, but at the same time, maybe looking for something that's similar to Cool Water, but a little extra kick to it. That's where I would kind of give this or land this fragrance. So if you have any questions whatsoever, tell me what you need to think about the quick format. Again, this isn't the definite format that is going to be out. It's going to be mixed in with some other reviews and with the original format that I have. But either way, I kind of wanted another way to freshen things up or to get some more videos out. All right. So thank you. Take care of yourself. Have a great day.